All right, we're ready to code the flowchart. And what we do not do is copy everything from here and paste it into there. We copy most of it, and then we end up with this. So again, here is going to be our input, the result of our calculations or logic. All those have to be blank places in memory. Then we have our all our constants. And one constant I have added here is error flag equals 0. Very important that you add that when you know you're going to be doing error checking and error trapping. And then we have our two inputs. Didn't want to have that there. I also kept this right here. This is the, remember when we started last time, I started by having this path. So rather than, it's going to take long enough as it is. So normally what I would do is I would only do this first if, and then test high mark. But since we have this here, let's go ahead and keep it. And then I have my output here. So the only thing I have left now is to do this part right here. And because this is if, else if, else if, now this is if, else if, but you can't use switch with a range. And actually there's a way to do it, but it's even more complicated than putting braces in. So I don't recommend doing that. I recommend when you're doing, the only time you're going to be looking for one of many, not any ranges, which is what's happening here. All right, so I have this part right here that I have to do. So let's go ahead and copy that and get to work. So I'm not going to do if, I'm going to do instead, I'm going to do switch. And I'm going to look for a match for whatever is in vehicle make. All right, so then I have a start brace. Oh, Brady. Start brace and an end brace. Not end brace. What am I? Switch. It is an end brace and a start brace, but that's kind of ridiculous. Switch. There you go. All right, and then we can just go ahead and drag this back up into it. So remember, we don't use the equal sign. So I'm going to tab over, delete that, tab over. That's too much. And then I'm going to say case forward colon. And then what do I want to do is these three things. Each of these have to end with a semicolon. Remember, that's a colon. This is a semicolon. And then the last thing I want to put on here before I forget is break. That ends the forward portion of this. And since I have a start switch and end switch, I can go ahead and test this to see if it actually works. So let's go ahead and test it. Okay, forward. And that is, let's do 100,000 for a high. And you can see the forward high is 5. Well, where is it? Forward high is 0.05, so it's 5,000. Look at this. That's not right. That's not right. It's joining, it's not adding. So we know that we need parseInt, and that's why we test it once first. So we see this 100,000 is coming in as text and is being joined with the markup. So we're going to have to do a conversion here. Conversion. And we're going to have to convert the base price. So Control C, Control V. And now we're going to use parse int, whoops, open and close parentheses, semicolon. And what do I want to put in there? Base price. So we're going to take the text out of base price, send it to parseInt. It's going to put a binary number in there. And now when we run it again, it won't join. So forward. Oh, that was stupid. Let's try that again. And let's change this to 100,000 so I don't have to type anything. So forward, 100,000, and now it's joining. Now it's adding instead of joining. So that's good. So we can see that that's working now. So if I now take this and change it to 100, and we have forward 100, and that's 2, and then again, and we do forward, actually I do 10,000, and you can see that's 3. Voila, we've done with that. So now what I need to do is just copy this, Control C, then paste it in, Control V, change this to GM, Control C, Control V, and then for the rest of these down here, it's going to be a small GM. So I should probably copy it from here just to make sure it's right. Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. All right, and now I can go ahead and say that this is going to be GM and 100. So GM 100, and you can see that's a $5. So where's GM low is 0.05, so that's correct. I'm going to assume everything else is right because I've been copying and pasting all the way through. So let's go ahead and grab the next one. Control C, Control V. I can assume, whoops, Control Z, but you cannot assume. So you should be testing just like I did in my flow chart. I showed you how to do that. All right, and now this one is going to be Dodge. So I'll go ahead and copy the word Dodge, Control C, and I can paste it here. Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, and then change this to Dodge, Control V, and then I'll preview it, and we have a Dodge, $100, so Dodge low is 0.01. Uh-oh, so dodged markup, dodged, what the heck? See, so I made a mistake. How'd that D get in there? I have no idea. All right, so now we'll try it again. And Dodge markup is undefined. What is going on here? This one's here is still not liking that. Oh, it's because it's completely wrong. So this has got to be, oh, that's where the D came from. I overwrote the M. That's the problem. But you can see that we know exactly where the problem is whenever a problem occurs. It's right the last thing we did. And that's why you use the build and test methodology. Boom. So it's $1 because it's 1%. Yada, yada, yada. Everything's working. So everything is working now. So the last thing we have to do then is do our error checking and error trapping. And we do that with default, colon, not case default, just default. And then we have, shouldn't be typing. We have error flag equals 0, so Control C, Control V, and this error flag is going to be 1 because an error has occurred with a semicolon. And then we're going to have the alert. Open and close parentheses, semicolon. And because I don't want to have to write it again, I'm going to go ahead and copy it from here. Yeah, you don't have that, but I could have copied it from the flow chart probably just as easy. And that goes right here, but I was lazy. All right, so let's see if our thing works. Dog, 100. I typed in dog, should have been that. In fact, our error message is 9. Then we get this mess at the end. And this should be capital GM. All right, because that's what we're going to be testing for. All right, so we know it works. And you know what? It worked even though we made a bad mistake, and that is we forgot break. Don't forget break. The fact that it's the last one and then it ends the switch means that that missing break doesn't hurt anything, but it could, so never leave it off. All right, every time you're doing, you should always do default, then break, and then put everything else in between. So do as I say, not as I do. Now we have to mitigate what happens if there's an error, because we didn't want to have that NaN at the end. So we have if, open and close parentheses, error flag equals 0. So that's what happens if no error occurs, and then we'll have a brace. Start no errors. And I'll bring this up. And we'll come down here. And at the end of all this, we'll have a brace. Oh, you already have it. Well, might as well go ahead and bring this whole thing up then. And then we have a close brace. Stop no errors. And then we have an else. And then we have start errors occurred. Then we have our output, and then stop errors occurred. All right, so now we have that. Let's go ahead and make sure we haven't broken anything. We have a dog 100. It stops and leaves us with that. That needs to be capital GM. And then dodge 100, and that works fine. So where was that? Over here. Yeah, it's capital GM. Don't want to tell them the wrong thing. And the last thing would be to fixed. So we do dot to fixed, and we'll copy that and paste it here and paste it here. Okay. Oh, would help if I had 2. There we go. And I'll copy that. Control C. Control V. Control V. All right, let's make sure we haven't broken it again. And we have dodge, $1. And you can see now it gives this. We should also have, I like to keep finding things. And there should be a dollar symbol here. A dollar symbol here. And a dollar symbol here. So these are the kind of things you make. You don't have to get it perfect first time. The rest is all just editing. So let's do it one last time. And you can see now we have the dollar sign and 2 things. All right, looking good. That's it. That is the code. On to the next problem.